Hope y'all can see. Hope y'all are good. Hope everything is going well for y'all. I came over here to talk to y'all about setting boundaries. So I'm gonna wait a little bit and make sure that we're actually live because it's pointless to make this video and start it. I've noticed like sometimes I'll start the video and people can't even hear what's going on. So hold on. Let me make sure y'all can hear. Hmm. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everything's going well for you guys. Um, but sometimes things come on your heart and you just got to talk about it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just being more authentic with you guys. Hopefully, you guys are rocking with it. If not, I apologize, man. This is just me. This is where I'm at right now. And I can no longer just be what other people expect me to be without being okay with it. You guys are rocking with it. So I see that we are live. Cool. Now, today's episode is all about setting boundaries. Now, setting boundaries always seems like something that's great. There's really nobody who's going to tell you setting boundaries is a bad thing until you set up a boundary that affects them, ironically. So, the whole point is, it, as you're in your life, you'll notice that there will be certain things that happen, um, and they seriously make you question, if you're doing things right. Okay, there will be people who will come up and they will expect you to go out of your way to accommodate them. Okay, now this isn't normally a problem. The problem only comes when you change. Okay, so having the energy of I'm going to be nice, I'm going to look out for people, I'm going to make sure that everybody's taken care of, that is a fantastic energy to have. Being thoughtful and courteous, I never think that there's a bad time to be thoughtful and courteous. The issue only comes when you have people who are taking advantage of that. And those people will get irate when you get to the point of understanding this isn't working for me anymore. Okay? So they will demand that you change the way that you're interacting with them to be more like what they're used to. And now this will hold on. Irate. This only becomes an issue because they're used to you acting a certain way. So you'll see certain people and they'll say, if you've always been accommodating to people and you've always been understanding to people, pardon me, it's been a long day. Um, then it's your fault when you upset somebody and you get them to the point of not understanding what's wrong with you, because all this time you have been okay with it. All this time there was no issues, and then all of a sudden you're going to change up on somebody and start holding them responsible and having accountability for themselves. People will not like that. They'll say you need to do something to change how you're treating me, and you need to treat me better. Now, this is a conflict of interest because the whole reason you started doing what you were doing was because you weren't being treated the way that you wanted to be treated, correct? So it becomes a very quick issue when you have somebody who says you need to change. Once you have somebody who says, you know what, those new boundaries that you set are affecting me, then you know that that's somebody who's taking advantage of your kindness, okay? Now, I'm one of those people, I was raised, to be nice to people, make friends, and influence people. The problem with that is it puts you in a position to where people can take advantage of you. And not just anybody, but the people who understand, hey, this person is always nice, this person is always understanding, and now is a great time for me to try to get over on them. So they'll never say this. Earlier on an Instagram post, I was talking about friendships and how friendships all have their expiration dates. Relationships, period, all have their expiration dates. And you never know, pardon me, you'll never know when that expiration date is coming. The problem is they come really fast. And when they come, nobody ever says anything. Your friend is not going to tell you, hey, we've reached the point to where I don't think this is really working anymore. Just all of a sudden, you'll see that they change the way that they interact with you, and you'll have to recalibrate. But it's not a fact that says, hey, you shouldn't be nice to people. It's not saying that you shouldn't give your all. It's saying that you should give it as a philanthropist. You should be nice simply to be nice. You shouldn't be expecting anything from somebody when you're being nice, because if you do that, you'll always have regret for, why was I being so nice? I'm such a fool. And I can't believe I did that to myself. This is all my fault. But when you're looking at a philanthropic, from a philanthropic standpoint, you can say, you know what? Me being nice to you isn't hurting me. It's enriching my community. It's allowing everybody to be able to enjoy having somebody who is sincere and authentically trying to be the best versions of themselves. Now, like I was saying earlier, those kind of people get taken advantage of the most. The people who are understanding and going out of their way to be courteous are the main ones who end up being manipulated, because you're thinking it's not my job to be happy, it's my job to make sure other people are taken care of. Other people being happy is more important than me being happy. The only problem with that is that one day that will cease to be true. If you're a wise person and you're growing, you'll understand that is the furthest thing from healthy that you can be, is understanding to everybody else to a fault. Okay? So what you'd have to do, I'm sorry, I'm working, so other people have been sending me messages. What you have to do is go out of your way to be resilient. Resilient is the best word, because these people are not looking to be your friend or to be as close with you as possible. What they're looking for is, it's sort of like how water finds the easiest path. I'm trying to see how I can get the most out of you without you attacking me for it. Now, this can be very troublesome, because a lot of the people who take advantage of it can be your closest friends and family members. Okay? So when you're doing this, you have to be aware, you realizing your value or realizing people aren't treating you right is only going to alienate you more from these people. It's going to cause them to say, you know what? He thinks he's better. He thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's special. And the truth is, you don't. The truth is that you didn't think that you were special. You didn't think that you were smart. You didn't think that you were important enough to change until this point. So once you get to that point of saying, I see it, I've been blind, but now I understand, I am important, I am valuable, and it's now time for everybody else to stop treating me how they used to when I was just being misused and stepped over. It will trigger them. Why does it trigger them? If I had to say a reason, I would think that they're so triggered because they understand what was once easy has just become difficult. What was once a connection has now become an obstacle. right? So if you're interested in somebody's growth and development, you have to be aware of the fact that they will get to a point where they see their value, and it'll be reflected to them throughout the world. And they'll see other people saying, you know what, I appreciate you, and I don't know what I would do without you, or you know, you save the day, kind of thing. Things like those will let you understand it was never you. It was never that you weren't helpful or that you weren't kind. It was always that other people didn't see it. Other people didn't value it. This is literally the most I've yawned since acting class. I used to, a trick of the trade is if you yawn a lot, then you'll be able to start crying. So I would yawn in order to get the tears going. And works. Works great. But that's what happens like when you're not one of those people who just cries for no reason. So I'm not saying that everybody cries for no reason, but there are some people who are just. I saw a commercial and it made me emotional. My goodness. But setting these boundaries, I'll tell you what it looks like. So I know somebody who is a family member, and they came to stay with me and my family. They came to visit. Now that's fine, but this person, when they were at the house, they had a habit of not putting things up. They had a habit of making a mess and not cleaning up that mess. And the issue only became an issue when I mentioned it. And the person didn't want to address the fact that they were upset about it, and they didn't want to clean up the mess that they made. So I cleaned it. They got food and didn't throw away the food. And this was like the second time that day they had gotten food. And their old food was still sitting on the table. Their new stuff was sitting on the table. And they were upset about the food. Well, they weren't upset. I was upset about the food being there. But I was just thinking, because whenever I go to your house or whenever I'm in your space, I try to be more respectful. But they might not even have thought about that. They were just worried about, this is what's comfortable for me. So they had a baby with them, and with their baby, the baby needed milk, so they're making the bottles of milk. After I'd cleaned up the mess that they had already made and cleaned the table and the counters, then they go and start making the bottles of milk, and then I come back in there and there's milk all on the countertops that has to be cleaned up. Okay, now it's not enough milk to where it's a big old puddle, but there's definitely milk. It has to be cleaned. That wasn't an issue until I said something about it. And when I said something about it, it would seem like it would be something simple, but it became something to where it was like I was being mean to this person for asking them just to be accountable for themselves. They're grown. Another instance, I took the same person over to my parents' house. And when the person got there, they put out their phone and started recording. Now, that's weird to me. Just because it would be okay if you were like out in the open. Hey, I want to take a video real quick. It's nice in here. But if you're one of those people who like you got your phone like this, you're over here recording, trying to act like I'm so stupid, it's gonna really upset me. You've never been here before, and you're using this as an opportunity to take videos. So I politely asked, "Hey, can everybody get out? You know, this is just not what I thought it was going to be. So let's go back outside," because there was an event going on. The event was outside. Nobody was inside. And then the person got upset, and they had a bad attitude about it. And my whole thing is, you're doing something to make me feel uncomfortable and make the people who stay here uncomfortable. And I know that because I'm their child. So I was raised with these people. So it's my job to ensure if I brought you here that you're upholding the rules of the land. Okay. And one of them isn't, hey, let's take videos and be secretive about it so we can show people stuff. You know? It wasn't necessarily bad, it was just the fact that you're being sneaky. So, when I see that, it lets me know a lot and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. As it would anybody. If somebody comes into your house and just starts recording, you're going to be like, this is weird. The fact that you're not asking, you're not getting permission, you're literally just recording just because you want to. So, I didn't mention that to the person, but I did bring up the fact that it was dirty and it had to be taken care of. And when that was brought up, there was an air of, I'm a jerk for having a boundary. Now that makes you feel really icky because you're saying, I would never do this to you and I have never done this to you. So why are you doing it to me? Now this is a person who, when I got married, this person didn't come to the wedding. You know, this person didn't support, but this person this person said that it was too difficult because it was last minute. But this person is always making last minute plans to come to where I stay. So it makes you say, is the problem what I said, or is the problem that you're used to me not having boundaries? And now you're upset because you can't do what you used to do. This is a person who they had a baby shower for that same baby. And I and my wife went out there, our kids, and we helped set up for like 3 days. We set up the event, we tore down the event, moved all this stuff. And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll get you guys something for it. Never got anything, never heard anything about it. It's not that I wanted anything, it's just the fact of I was doing something to be nice, which shows how valuable you are to me. And then when it comes time for you to show me how valuable I am to you, you choose not to. That makes me feel like it's more wise for me to value my space, my time, my energy. Okay? I understand that some people may be triggered by this, some people may be upset by this. The truth is, my experience is when people show you more respect for who you are, they will treat you as if you are valuable in their life. When people stop treating you like they're valuable, they will do anything to you and they will completely destroy your self confidence, your ego. You cannot afford that. It takes too much work to build up your confidence and allow your ego to not be, you know, hurt every time somebody says something crazy. So it's absolutely a necessity to make sure that if you feel a certain way about somebody doing something, you change the way that you're responding to it. Even if you don't say anything about it, you have to change the way you respond in order to expect a difference, right? Now, if they're upset with it, it lets you know that they never really liked you in the first place. They just liked you because you were being nice and you were easy to deal with. And now they're upset with you because you're understanding this is wrong and I could be treated better. It is our job to not be comfortable. Being comfortable means sometimes saying things that need to be said. Being uncomfortable sometimes means just being quiet. And I feel like so long I was quiet about it, and so long I was taken advantage by people, friends, family, to I've gotten to this point. People are always like origin stories and all that. If you are a consistently nice person and completely empathetic to other people, they'll take advantage of you, and then you become a person who has no generosity. They have no concept of the idea of why they should be generous because they've tried it. I have tried being generous to friends and family members and associates, and I've learned in my time you can only be nice to those people who really want the same thing as you. It is not going to work any other way. People are going to get mad. People are going to say, "How dare you?" People are going to say, "You should do this." But that's not their life. Because the same people who are taking advantage of your boundaries are the same people who will be mad at you for setting boundaries. Which means you're not worried about me at all. You're worried about how I make you feel, how I give you freedoms that you normally can't get. So it is my job to make sure I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my own heart because people will use you like a match and throw you to the side. Okay? If you guys have ever used a match, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When that match gets hot, how quick do you throw it? How quick do you extinguish it? Okay? So always understand people can have their own issues, they can have their own drama. I'm not saying you can't have drama. I'm just saying it's necessary to be aware while you're doing what you're doing. So if you're setting a boundary, know why you're setting the boundary. Don't just set a boundary because you feel a kind of way. Or if you're letting people overstep their boundaries, understand why is it value to you. And don't allow it to be something monetary because that's a recipe for disaster. You have to go out of your way to be authentic as you possibly can at all times so people can see you as a beacon and a way of how life could be, how it should be, and how you would like it to be. So, if somebody doesn't respect your boundaries, does that mean you start treating them worse? Not at all. If anything, you treat them better so that they can see, oh, this is how it's supposed to go. But if people get upset with that, what are you going to do? You have to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself makes other people very uncomfortable. Do not allow yourself to get caught up in how people act and what people think and what people will say about you to say this is right or this is wrong. I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying. I hope you guys can like really interpret what I'm trying to show you guys. It's not fun setting boundaries. It's not fun cutting people off. It's not fun learning that the way that you were raised, the way that you've been taught to interact with people is a toxic way to live. But you know what is nice? Understanding that now you can live more authentically and you don't have to worry about people taking advantage of you. I'm a contractor and I have somebody who is supposed to be working with me. I've been working with them over a year, lining up this job, and it's multiple jobs that are in one community area. Um, and everything was fine. And I'll even tell you guys the numbers and everything. Okay, so they came and gave me estimates, and the estimates were supposed to be for like $5,200, right? There was multiple, but this is the one we're talking about first. Um, that was fine. Everything went through the process. They had to go through the HOA, go through the builder. The builder's supposed to be paying for everything because it was their issue that fostered this whole event. So it's their job to come up with how much they're gonna pay, when they're gonna pay, all that stuff. So they make their first down payment. They're like, okay, let's go. We're ready to get this started. And I reach out to the person again like a year later. to the date. And I was like, no, it was probably like more like 11 months for them. I had been there for a year, but for them it had been like 11 months since I reached out to them and asked for estimates. And they said, okay. They came back and looked at it again. They said, all right, we'll send you some paperwork. We'll let you know what's going on. We'll do all this. And in the process, I was super nice. I'm talking about, I talked to this man, I talked to his assistant, whose name was Josie, and I talked to his wife. And talked multiple times. I contacted them consistently, super nice, super understanding, super professional, to allow them to feel comfortable with the fact that we're about to do a lot of work together and I want it to go well. When I called him back the second time in order to check, it was to make sure that your numbers are correct, your estimate is correct, we can get the work going, see what day we could start. He said September 1st. I said, okay, great. Throughout that time, it was probably like a week and a half, or no, it was 2 weeks. And in the first week, I said, hey, I want to start on this week, which would have been last week, and I want to get all this knocked out. He said, oh, okay, no problem. And then I call the assistant who helps translate. And the assistant says that she talked to the person, but she doesn't know all the details, and that it's just sort of seeming sort of weird. Well, she didn't say it seemed weird, but I thought it was seeming weird how it was going. Because I expected, hey, we need a new estimate, we need to raise the price, this is what it's going to be now. They said nothing of the sort. I kept asking, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? They said nothing about a down payment, nothing. Now, I knew that they required a down payment, but the fact that they weren't telling me that they needed a down payment made me extremely worried. So, fast forward to the 1st, which was yesterday. It rained. It rained the day before. It rained the day before that. So I already knew we weren't going to be working on the 1st. I wasn't upset about that. But what I was upset about is the week before, when we were supposed to start, this person was gone. He went out of the country to go do another job or vacation, whatever you want to call it. He wasn't here. And I was like, okay, I understand, but let's just make sure we start on the 1st. First comes, I call him. He doesn't answer. Called his wife, who works in the office with him. She does not answer. I waited all day to see if they would call me back. They did not call me back. I called him again that same day, and then I waited all day. He never called back. So this morning, around 9:30, I call him just to see what's going on. He's like, I say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? He's like, oh, I'm fine. I was like, oh, so are we supposed to start work on Monday? He's like, yes. He said, who is this? This is Troy. What do you mean? Oh, let me have Josie call you. Josie's the person who works in the office and is also an interpreter. Well, for him. So she didn't call me. I called her like within a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And she tells me, hey, so it looks like the estimate's going to change. It looks like they're going to have to up the price. And I hope you're okay with that. I said, hey, it's a part of the business. Let me see what it is. He said he doesn't want to do what the builder has paid to get done. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to change out the whole roof. And so I was like, okay, so how much is it going to be? This man sends me a bid for $28,500. That is such a wild difference in price from $5,400. And the fact that you waited after 2 weeks in order to tell me now the price is going up is absolutely ridiculous. Considering the fact I was so kind, I was so understanding, I was so ready to help, and you're going to do this, it leads me to only believe you are trying to sabotage my business. That's how I feel. So I have to take evasive measures in order to make sure I don't get stabbed in the back. I don't get manipulated and used. And it's a sad thing to have to do, especially when you're one of those people who I just want to be nice. I won't want any problems for anybody. It's a sad thing to have to do, but the truth is, look at Julius Caesar. He says, Ite Brutus, you too, Brutus. Now, Julius Caesar knew that these people were not good friends. Julius Caesar knew that these people wanted his downfall. But instead of him allowing these people to be exposed before, he kept them around. He pacified them, and they ended up being the same ones to stab him in the back. I'm telling you that you guys have to be aware when somebody is not on your team. And when somebody is not on your team, you cannot let that person go scot-free. You have to be aggressive in getting that cancerous being out of your organization. So I told them, hey, that's all good. I appreciate the quote, and we'll wait and see what's happening. I'm not gonna pay that money, but what I am gonna do is make sure that I find somebody else who can come in and will give me a good price, and will honor the fact that I'm a nice person who's trying to be accommodating with whoever I work with, and I don't want them to be ostracized. I don't want them to feel like this guy's only worried about himself. He's only worried about his bottom line. Truth is, I want you to do great. I want you to feel like you have a partner. But if you're going to turn around and try to plan and plot the downfall of my business and my family, now we've become enemies. And the best thing to do with the enemy is allow them to still think that you're their friend, and then attack it in a productive way. But you cannot let enemies stay around just because you think that one day they're going to start understanding. They'll never understand. They'll make you question yourself and wonder why you ever tried. So I reiterate the reason why I started this whole thing. You have to set boundaries. You have to tell people how you feel, and you have to be blatantly honest with them, because if you're not, you'll be living in a lie. And once you wake up and that lie has surrounded you, it'll be so hard to get out of it. So if it's a friend, an ex-lover, if it's an associate, if it's a business partner, be authentic to yourself. Have those conditions and those boundaries from the beginning so they can understand. So they can be aware that this is a person of integrity, and this is also somebody who is not going to allow themselves to be taken advantage of. So love on yourself enough to understand your value, and then force other people to pay that value for you. All right? I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. But if I did hurt somebody's feelings, I can't be mad at it. I can't. I can no longer care more about what other people think than how I feel and how my value is being interpreted. So this week and today and every other day, I want you guys to but I want you guys to implement your boundaries. What's a hard no? And what's a maybe? Make sure that you're aware of this because people will test it, especially if you're a kind person. People will try to take advantage of you if you allow them to. Be honest with yourself, be honest with the people you're working with, have integrity, and make sure that your boundaries are foolproof. You don't want to give anybody an opportunity to slide in and hurt you. Yes, getting hurt is part of life, but wisdom is also a part of growth. So if you're wise, you'll understand I need to protect myself. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, go take a nap, and let you guys know it's not worth it trying to be a people pleaser because somebody's always going to dislike you just for being yourself. So you would do better just being your authentic, weird self as opposed to trying to be what other people expect you to be. Like the song, I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me, have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around you, seeing what I gotta do, or who I'm supposed to be. I don't want to be anything other than me. Yeah, yeah. I don't wanna be your baby, yeah, yeah. I don't wanna be. Y'all understand? Set those boundaries. If it blocks certain people out, it blocks them out. They're gonna be mad. They didn't like you to begin with. They were just happy with you not knowing your own worth. Be safe, know your value, force people to pay what you're worth, and never, ever, ever concede to the fact that you're worse than you know you are. You know you're a great person. So don't allow other people to change what you think about yourself. Love on yourself, love on your community, love on your family, and guard your heart. Y'all be safe. Troy Leonardo out.